payments can take up to 3 days to clear. This is something that we've all heard, but it's not such a big deal because it's a small amount of time, and it's usually not that large of a payment. But what if your income depended on it? And what if it was a longer time? This is the case with recording artists. So let's take an example. The Unpaid Rockers. This is a band that I made up for the purposes of the presentation. But imagine that their debut single goes straight to #1. Immediately after that, what they want to do is create an album or go on tour. Instead, they're watching the clock, waiting for 2 months until the payment arrives. They're flat broke despite the fact that they have a #1 single. This is a terrible situation, and it's something that the company Platoon recognized and wanted to fix. So Platoon discovers and nurtures talent. They place music on streaming platforms, and they recognized this as a problem and wanted to pay artists faster. So I was drafted into Platoon to help work with them. I worked with them for 6 weeks, and I built a product that calculates the weekly revenue. The idea being, if you can predict the weekly revenue, you can pay the artist ahead of time, and then this can be recouped 2 months down the line. So the way it works, it happens in 3 steps. The first step is obtaining the number of streams, and when I say stream, I mean a play of a song over the internet. So firstly, obtaining the number of streams, that's done through an API, and it comes in 3 files which have to be matched, and it comes 3 files for each country. So there's a lot of combining and matching that goes together, but ultimately what results is a table with user information and then track names. And this is a long list of every time any of the songs are played, multiple entries per song sometimes, huge file. So that's the first thing that's needed. The second step is predicting the revenue per stream. This is how much money is generated every time a person plays a song. This varies by country, by package, as in which one you're signed up to, the family plan, the free advertising one, the premium. It also varies per month. So there are a lot of values to this, and this information is contained in the financial reports. When a company gets paid by the streaming platforms, they get a report that says, this is how many streams you have, it's how much money you made. So the amount of money per stream can be calculated from those financial reports. So this data was sitting on computers, not really doing anything, and now it's become useful. And by using the previous revenue per stream values, you can predict one for the future. So all of this data was fed into the ETS model, which smooths the data, and another feature of it is it puts extra weighting on some of the later data points rather than the earlier ones. But once the historic data is fed into it, it predicts a value for the revenue per stream 2 months down the line. And this is per country, per package, per month. So there are a lot of values there. The third step is predicting the currency exchange rate, because music is consumed in many different countries which operate with different currencies. And another note is that the product is completely automated. It sits on a server, and it's scheduled to run weekly, so no one has to interact with it, no one has to flip any switches. So Platoon gets a weekly revenue report. It lists all the artists and how much money that they have predicted to make that week. There's also a monthly reconciliation report. This compares the predicted value, the predicted revenue to the actual revenue, and then the difference is calculated, and that is used to adjust the payments, the next payment. For the artists, they get a weekly statement, which is created automatically by the product. They get paid much sooner as well. And the Unpaid Rockers were so happy with this, they changed their name to the Swiftly Paid Rockers. So overall, in the 6 weeks, I built a revenue predictor. This is good for Platoon because it's a unique selling point that they can use to attract artists. It's good for the artist because it enables them to much sooner spend their revenue on their artistic endeavors. So yeah, the artists get paid sooner. And in the case of the Swiftly Paid Rockers, a source of frustration is removed, which is very good for them, although their music hasn't been the same ever since. Thank you.